Why my speakers are so damn.
Welcome to the Executives View, the sports podcast where the stakes are high and the debates are fierce. Please welcome your host, Aaron Sirius Simmons, alongside co-host Barry DeVille and Jordan. Each week, we bring you into the boardroom where the elite minds of sports converge. From the gridiron strategies to the business behind the ball, we tackle the hard-hitting questions and give you an insider's perspective. So pull up a chair and join us at the table where champions are made and legends are born. This is the Executives View. Let's get down to business.
Yes, it is a great day. We are here. It is April 16th. We are here on the boardroom meeting on the Executives View. I am your host for this evening, the villain himself, Barry Jordan. Everybody else will be in soon. Serious, I had to put him on timeout for a little bit. I can't let him breathe a little bit. So I said, listen, I'm in control. I'm running the ones and twos here. I'm running the show, but I don't do this by myself. I got my co-host with me. One of the guys in the boardroom that pulls up a table, gets his pen and paper out, and starts yelling at the villain, LJ himself. What's up, LJ?
Yo, what's the deal, bro? Man, we back in the house tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, listen, I'm still on a high, LJ. UConn back-to-back champs, baby. So, I was on vacation last week. I appreciate you guys holding me down. I did call in a little bit just to, it was such a beautiful thing when your team wins a chip. So, 2 in a row, 6 out of the last 25 years. Blue blood, new blood, UConn Huskies. So, but we're here now. The NBA season is a wrap. The play-in is upon us, but we got a lot of other news to talk about, man. You ready to go? You ready to start this meeting off right?
Yeah, man. Let's hold down the fort, man, till we get the other fellas in the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sure Black Zach and Sirius will be in soon. Shout out to everybody else, Mike, Mr. Harvey, Chandler, my brother. Holding us down always. So. We're gonna just keep it moving. So yesterday, the news came out about the USA men's basketball team for Team USA for the 2024 Olympics that's taking place in Paris. I wish I could play basketball, LJ, so I could go to Paris. You know what I'm saying? These guys are going themselves. So the team was announced. 11 players were announced yesterday, headlined by LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is now an American player.
I think he got dual citizen. Dual citizenship.
Right? He got dual citizenship.
Yeah.
So, he wasn't, I think, Cameroon, but he's sliding in for USA this year because we need the help. But we got Anthony Davis, we got Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, well deserved. Jason Tatum, who was back from last year's team. Drew Holiday as well, I think was on last year's team. Kevin Durant was on last year's team too as well. Bam Adebayo, I think, was on last year's team, and Tyrese Halliburton made the team this year. So those were the 11 that were announced. And then today, the last spot was handed out, and it was handed out to Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi Leonard is the 12th man on this squad. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'll let you take it first. I don't know if you heard about the news, but I mean, even if you didn't, reflect on the 11 players that were chosen to represent the United States in this year's Olympics.
Yeah, man. We got into it yesterday on the chat. My biggest thing with Team USA is, of course, they're always trying to, replicate, Dream Team. But today's assembly of a Dream Team ain't the same as it was, in 1990. Because now, the Dream Team aren't facing the same level of competition. Now that was one of my biggest things was now because of FIBA and they play on the FIBA rules, you can grab the basketball basically off the rim. And before, the stereotype was European players are soft. That's not true. We see that with Giannis and Jokic and double doubles. So we know that they're not.
I don't know if we lost LJ. He might be having a little technical difficulties on his end, but yeah. Listen, I was surprised at the roster that was announced for Team USA. I felt like when I was talking about it, there should have been a little bit of a youth movement. I like the mix of experience and the youth. I mean, I was surprised that Halliburton made the team. I was happy for him. Like the idea of Anthony Edwards, Ant getting in there, Jason Tatum, young player who we feel like he's been in the league forever, right? But he's still a young player. The addition of Joel Embiid, I feel like they could use a little bit more shooting, just because the way the European game is played. To LJ's point, I felt like I really wanted some new blood in there. I wanted to see. I would have loved to see Brunson in there. I would have loved to see De'Aaron Fox get a nod. So there was a lot of guys that I liked to see that would have got in, but they didn't get in. And to not put those guys in, and then to put in Kawhi Leonard, I know the Clippers and Steve Ballmer are at this point like screaming, "Take my guy off the roster. I don't want him playing. I don't even want him to look at the court." But it is what it is. But I think LJ is back. I'm gonna bring him in, and we got Black Zach Morris here. Preppy, what's going on, brother?
Look, I'm once again. I'm gonna try. It's like, is this hat okay? Went old school, Hartford Whalers. I mean, like, is this hat okay, Bear? All right, like,
legendary. I love it.
Yeah. Hey Siri, play Brass Bonanza. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, man, a pleasure to be here. Hey, you know how it is with toddlers. They don't understand that things time and so yeah, no schedule. They don't care about daddy's schedule or mommy's schedule, things like that. But like, glad I could get in here, even though I'm a little late. But I will piggyback on what you were talking about because I was like in the green room listening. All right, Kawhi. Like, Kawhi, we know you don't want to do this. Okay, we know this. We know you don't really like leaving the house. Okay, we know that this man lives in San Diego and kind of like tries to commute back and forth between LA and San Diego. He want Uncle Dennis to have a helicopter, and it's just like, this is just funny to me. It's just like, it's a legacy play. It is. He has the championship. He has Finals MVP. He wants a gold medal. As much as Kawhi sits there with the stone face and like he doesn't care, he cares about that stuff. It's like, because it's a resume builder, because it's like you got all that, and then it's almost like you don't need it, but it's like, man, that gold medal is a nice little thing to have on your resume when it's like 7-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, 2024 gold medalist. It sounds good when they're reading your resume when you get to Springfield. And yeah, like you said, Ballmer probably is like, look, Kawhi, I'll throw you a little something under the table if you don't go. Right. It's like the guy who struggles to stay healthy for when he's paid, he's gonna be all gung ho and go over to Paris. And it's like, Kawhi ain't slick. Kawhi, like this, like I mentioned in our group chat, free trip to Paris. Yeah, sign me up. It's like I know. I wish Chandler was here and he had his thoughts about Paris, but it's like, I mean, look, man, Paris is Paris, especially a free trip to Paris. And it's like, yeah, he said it looks like the South Bronx in the daytime. Those guys are not worried about what Paris looks like in the daytime. Believe you me. They worried about what the Olympic Village is gonna look like at nighttime, and like what the Champs Elysees is gonna look like at nighttime. They're not worried about the river looking like the South Bronx, is like Chandler so eloquently put it. So it's like, but to speak to the rest of the roster, yeah, I would have loved to see some new blood. I mean, you got Ant on there. I'm disappointed that a guy like Brunson didn't make it. I just think you look at me personally. I mean, a guy like Walker Kessler. A guy like some of these kids who went to the World Championships and played, they deserve a spot on this team. And I just think it's just one of those things where, once again, it's like, okay, y'all good enough to go over to the World Championships or like the FIBA stuff or whatever that, but then here comes LeBron and here comes Steph and here comes everybody, because now it's time for business. And it's just like they rewarded Anthony Edwards, I believe, for like just balling out. And I feel like part of the leap that he made this season started, in the forget it, the FIBA like champions or whatever like that. Like a lot, you saw a switch get flipped for him, and like, so this is what it means to carry a team. This is what it means to be the guy, And he balled out in that tournament, and that momentum carried into the season, and he's been amazing. He's earned his spot. Like I said, it's legacy play. It's like, it's just another gold medal for LeBron, another gold medal for Steph, another gold medal for these guys to just add to their resume. And it's like, look, we had some lean years, and it's like, look, I remember, what happened in Athens. That it was embarrassing. It was disgusting. It was, for lack of a better phrase, it was nasty work. What happened in Athens? We all remember what happened in Athens. And I think USA basketball is in a better position now than it was then, to where we don't need to run and go get LeBron. We don't need to go run and get Anthony Davis. We don't need to go run and get these guys. The young guys, I think, could handle it just fine. They proved they could. They showed some international mettle. And I don't know. It's just like, I disagree with the team building with America. But, come July, I'll be rooting them on like we all will. But it's just like, I think this is the last Olympics for your Stephs, for your LeBrons, for your guys like that, so that they're letting them go out with this one last shot at it. But I just think you have to move on. It's like, I get it, but I just don't agree with the roster building that Grant Hill and the guys at USA Basketball have done.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This is Curry's first Olympics, correct? Like, he's never been.
You know what? I believe you are right. Now that I think about it, I think this is his first Olympics. I think he was going to play but got hurt.
Right.
Or was going to play but got hurt. And so, yeah, I think this is his first Olympics. But again, to my point earlier, it's about legacy. It's about, okay, the NBA championships, the MVPs, and then, oh man, that little cherry on top, gold medal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, LeBron doesn't need to be there. I didn't anticipate him going, so I'm surprised that he went. I had rattled off some names in our chat that I would have loved to see: Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, right? Fox, Zion, Brunson, obviously. So even Kyrie, you know what I mean? But Larry, I'd love to get your opinion on this real quick, and then we can shift gears real fast on the USA team roster announced.
Yeah, fellas, I was having a technical difficulty, but I'm back now. Like I said, man, I think that they try to load up on a little bit of size. Do I think Kawhi's going to get that, I participated medal? Yeah, I think he might get that I participated medal just because, he's barely even playing now. Honestly, I think Embiid might actually back out because he's injured now. And we know, once the team owner steps in and says, nah, you're not going to go play. We want to protect you for the future. But I think Embiid's going to end up backing out. But like I say, the Olympics come every 4 years. And Steve, you hit it on the head. This is the last hurrah. Let's try to put this ensemble of talent together for this one last hurrah. Mm-hmm. They may or may not bring home the gold, They try to put together the best team that they possibly can. I just think when it comes down to it, they're trying to make that, Dream Team, what is it, 5.0 or 6.0 or something like that. But of course, like I said, these other teams overseas are actually getting better. Oh my God, that French team with Wembley and Gobert. Wow, y'all better come with some size, especially with those FIBA rules. So yeah, I want to see what's gonna happen.
Canada's gonna have a good team. Spain, like the Western world is catching up. Argentina. We talked about Athens earlier. Argentina, just internationally, they're a very good team. It's not just like how it was back in the original Dream Team. It's they're gonna have to show up and they're gonna have to play some ball and they're gonna have to remain healthy. And when you have these older guys who don't play together in these international teams, even though with some of these guys are in the NBA, they get there and then they play together like in these little smaller tournaments, or they go back home and they play. So yeah, it's like the French team is going to be fantastic. The Spanish team is going to be amazing. It's just, and then the Chinese team, they're going to be good. It's just like and then the French team, with them being the host country, they're going to be playing a little bit extra harder, guys. Let's not forget where the Olympics are. So the French team, which is already really good, they're gonna be playing with a little bit of extra bounce and stuff.
Right.
They're gonna get a few extra whistles too. We know how the Olympics is. They're gonna get a couple extra. Yeah, they're gonna get a couple extra whistles and the whole nine. It almost kind of reminds you of NCAA. NCAA, we see these one and done teams, and then you see this one team that they've been playing together for the last 4 years, and you kind of we never heard of them, but they did they end up beating y'all because these overseas teams, they play together all the time. You hit it on the head, Steve. This team, they're a good collection of talent, but they're gonna have to have that Michael Jordan come to Jesus practice when they took it super serious and they all said, you know what, we got to play together, fellas. We gotta bring it together as a team and not try to individually ball out. They're gonna have to have that practice if they are serious about bringing home the goal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm really curious to see how LeBron, AD, and these guys and Kawhi would fit in with their recent injury history, right? And LeBron's nursing through some foot injuries and stuff, so we'll see how effective he's going to be or even wants to be. So, and I'll be curious to see how Halliburton responds. I think he's on the come, right? I think he's here. Actually.
Yeah,
I think he's here.
Yeah,
I really like to see him on the team as well. So, Team USA definitely be very interested. But like you guys said,
they put the right guy. They put the right guy on the team that don't need to shoot, but is going to distribute the ball.
Right. Halliburton, and he can get you a bucket. So, but God, I would like to see Fox on that team, man.
Oh man, yeah, because De'Aaron Fox's game translates to the international game. With the extra space that you have on the international court, Fox would be amazing internationally. In the setting. You need shooters. You need shooters and you need rebounders. That's what you need in international play. You need guys who can you don't need guys who can again. That's why it's Melo. Melo was just he probably might be the best Olympic USA player I've ever seen. When you look his game perfectly fit the international style of ball. He's just he might have been the best international player I've ever seen for the USA because he was a totally different player. People talk about Hoodie Melo. People don't talk enough about Olympic Melo. Olympic Melo was a beast.
Hoodie Melo was that dude though. I gotta give him props.
Hey, I'm a Melo fan, so Olympic Melo, man, that dude, he was carrying the team with all the All-Stars on it. He was carrying them.
Facts.
And every time they would even get into any trouble, it was throw the ball to Melo, and Melo's about to do Melo.
And he gets such a bad rap for not being a winner, but he won in college and he did win some Olympics, and he was the guy on that Olympic team.
Melo chose the money over the rings.
Yeah,
and, I don't knock him for it. Like I said, he took a backseat when it came to Olympics, but he chose the money over the rings.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how it goes. Sirius is reaching from the stars to comment and telling me to tighten up because I didn't think LeBron wasn't going to be on the team. Listen, Sirius, Sirius chose violence today, so when he gets that's my motto for the week because it's been that kind of week already. But no, I'm kidding. Shout out to Sirius. He'll be in soon enough. But yeah, listen, real quick, we had some interesting news come down not too long ago. Michigan has agreed to reaches a settlement with the NCAA for recruiting violations. They'll serve a 3-year probation. They're going to pay a fine and face recruiting restrictions, after they had inappropriate contact with players during the COVID period, the COVID dead period, impermissible tryouts, exceeding the number of allowed countable coaches when non-coaching staff members were engaged on and off the field, like just a whole bunch of little not ticky tacks, but like skirting the rules. That's what Michigan did. And then Harbaugh running and hiding. He's still under investigation, and he's going to get his comeuppance. But LJ, I'll come to you real quick. What do you think about the Michigan getting the 3-year probation?
We knew it was coming. we knew it was coming. Look, when it comes to like NCAA sports in general, who won't take the probation or the fines or whatever for the championship? We've been knowing it. We've been knowing it since Harbaugh's self-imposed suspension. We knew that as soon as he ran out to the NFL that it was coming. I mean, but at the end of the day, the NCAA is not so quick to say, oh, we're going to, strike the team records. We'll strike the player records all day long, Shout out to Reggie Bush. Your Heisman is taken from you because you took a little money on the side, even though we made millions off of you. But we won't strike team records from the record book. So we knew it was coming. We just didn't know what the deal was going to be. Whether there's going to be probation, whether there's going to be scholarships taken, whether it was going to be suspensions handed out, stuff like that. I mean, I hate to say it because their new coach, he's going to get the raw deal, because now he's on probation. So of course, he's going to limit some of the things that he can do. But we knew it was coming. We saw it. It's not a surprise to me. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the NCAA, teams are willing to take these so-called NCAA penalties, for the sake of a championship. We've seen it. Nothing new.
Nothing new. I mean, we knew it was coming. We didn't have to wonder when. It was just going to be how long, like how much, right? How much of
and how bad it was going to be.
How bad it was going to be, and now we know.
Yeah.
Black Zach, what do you think about Michigan getting the 3-year probation?
Well, I mean, again, it's like when Harbaugh put himself and they did this self-imposed stuff and they acted like he was Nelson Mandela or something like that. We knew this was coming. You could see the writing on the wall. And then even more so, like Larry said, it's like, man, look, Jim saw the guillotine getting ready to come down, and he was like, all right, I'm out. He's like, he turned down Larry. He's like, you know what, I'm out. He did the same thing like we saw Pete Carroll do it. Pete Carroll, like the walls started closing in LA, and Pete Carroll, like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try this NFL thing one more time. Nothing to do with these sanctions, and nothing to do with this stuff that's happening. You know what? I feel like the time is right. I don't know. Something's just pulling me back to the NFL. Just it's something. I don't know what it is. Nothing to do with that. To paraphrase, a line from the theme song of the Beverly Hillbillies, man, he loaded up his RV and moved to Beverly. And he got as far away from Ann Arbor as he could. And I'm sorry, it's just like, but again, you ask a fan of University of Tennessee or the University of Kansas or University of Oklahoma, my school, LSU. Ask the people in Auburn if they would, and they know thing too about probation. It's like that's just the game. It's like, look, we're gonna push our chips into the middle of the table. We're gonna do some stuff that is against the law, that is blatantly against the rules. But you think anybody repping maize and blue cares about this stuff? They won the chip this year. They won it. They don't care. If they would have lost that game, then it's like, oh, and we're on probation. But now it's like we're on probation, but we won that championship, baby. And they're gonna be riding off the wave of that championship for a while. But yeah, it's just once again like the NCAA, they take their time with this stuff. You know, and a lot of people knock the NCAA for doing this, but like they're very thorough. They take their time. They probably went to the decision makers at Michigan. Was like, look, 5 years, and they were like, you know what? If we cooperate, can we get it down to 3? They're like, sure. And I think that's what happened. So it'll be interesting to see but again, it's Michigan. It's like, so instead of getting 27 blue chip 5-star recruits, they get 17. I mean, you know, it's like Michigan, like they're still going to be able to recruit guys. And with these restrictions, we won't see it this year. We won't see it next year. It will be years down the line when we see how this truly affects Michigan. So for now, they're living in the moment. They still have a pretty decent team, but we'll see down the line how this truly will affect Michigan.
Right. I mean, it's not like we've seen the death sentence, right? With what's the SMU?
SMU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're not going to see that level, especially if they quote unquote cooperate with the NCAA officials. So, I mean, really, to your point, 3 years and a chip. All right, I'll take the chip.
Yeah, you'll take the chip. You know what? I hate to say it like that, and I don't want to make it into that thing, but I feel bad for Sherrone Moore. Like, here it is once again. You have this black coach, and what do? Do you take the opportunity to be a head coach, or do you run out to the NFL with Harbaugh? Because he did take a lot of his staff with him, you know, and I'm quite sure that Sherrone Moore could have, you know, went with him, but how many chances do black coaches get to be a head coach, especially at, you know, like we talked about blue bloods, to be at a head coach at a blue blood football college Power 5 school? Those opportunities don't come every day, but now he's taking on with probation violations, and of course, you know, they already got their recruiting class coming in this incoming year. I haven't seen too many transfers, you know, leaving Michigan. You know, they lost one of the running backs. He's going to the NFL. And of course, they lost their quarterback that will be on your Giants pretty soon. But yeah, that's the person I feel bad for. It's like, you know, you leave the black coach with all the mess, and he has to take the job or not take the job to you know, kind of keep that leverage to where he could even probably get a second chance at being a head coach.
I don't feel like he's going to. I think he's going to get the 3 years, and then the clock will start. Like, and I don't even think the clock will start after that. I mean, you got to remember, right? He did serve a 1-game suspension, the season opener last year for violations and stuff. So, I mean, just because it's like he washed his dirty hands in the same sink as John Harbaugh. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, it's 3 years, but we all know when it comes to black coaches, that leash ain't that long. You know. So, especially when it comes to Michigan, you lose to Ohio State 2 years in a row, and they calling for your job.
Yeah, no, you're not.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're purple. That's just how it goes in Ann Arbor. And let's not act like Moore just ran into the situation like unbeknownst to him. It's like he was there when it was happening. He probably should have had some idea. It's like if he had his head in the sand, that's on him. He knew what was going on there. He was there. So it's like, again, it's like, do you pass up the opportunity? Probably not. But it's like, I don't think he's like, oh, well, all shucks. It's like, what am I going to do? It's like, I do agree with Barry. I think they will give him the 3 years, but then they're like, okay, Coach Moore, now it's time to kind of get it together. What have you done during this 3 years? It's like, we'll give you that. And then it's just like, you know, like at Penn State, all that stuff happened at Penn State. We don't need to rehash that. And it's like, you know, Bill O'Brien came in there and he was the guy after all that. And then, you know, Franklin comes in after that, and then now it's smooth sailing. What I fear is I do hope that Moore gets a chance to see Michigan through this and gets to build after that. I hope they don't say, okay, thanks for getting us through this, and now we're going to go hire Coach A, Coach B, or whatever like that.
We've seen it happen a lot of times when it comes to, you know, I'm gonna say our coaches. We've seen it happen a lot of times where, you know, your promise was 5 years, but thanks for the good job. You know, it looks good on your resume, but we're gonna go in a different direction. You know, now we're gonna bring in the coach that we really wanted, that we probably been secretly talking to the whole time. And, you know, like I said, now if he pulls out some miracles and he keeps beating Ohio State, then they might be like, wait, we're going to give him an extra 2 years and let him finish out these 5 years. But we all know, no matter what color the coach is, if you lose to Ohio State at Michigan, your seat hotter than fish grease. Your seat is boiling, and he may not make it to those 3 years if he lose those games, even with the recruiting violations.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's going to be the sad part.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it from the perspective of, like, honestly, I feel like it was a handshake agreement, right? Like Harbaugh said, dude, all right, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna leave, but you got to bring my man in, and you know he's got to be your coach, and like I'm gonna take this L because I did, like it was talk, Michigan background, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like something like that was going down, so I feel like he's okay. And to your point, like look at Ryan Day. Ryan Day is like what 56-8, but he got 3 straight losses to Michigan. This dude might be going too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 8 losses, but 3 of them to Michigan the last 3 years. He might be gone. So you're not wrong, right? Like it's hot in there what you lose to your rival. So and it goes both ways. So, but I feel like Sherrone Moore. I think he's gonna be. I feel like he's gonna be okay. That's just. I mean.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
I think it might be wishful thinking, like you know what I mean, LJ. But I feel like he's gonna be okay. So we'll see.
I mean, Michigan won those games when Harbaugh was out. It wasn't like he came in and was like, "Oh, if we go 1-1, I'm fine," or if we, 2-3 or something like that. He came in, they won those games.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not like it's not like, I mean, yeah, he can coach, or can he coach, or can he keep the wheel steady? It's not like, I mean, he had J.A. McCarthy, he had Blake Corum, he had that defense. It's like, I don't think anything X and O wise, like that Moore did, like made the difference in those games or whatever like that. I mean, I just like, that's taking nothing away from Coach Moore, but it's like, let's keep it 100 here. It's like that Michigan team, they won a championship. They were a machine. And it's like, it don't take much to keep that wheel steady, So it's one of those things where I would love for Coach Moore to succeed in Ann Arbor. I would love to see him be there and, and win championships and stuff like that. Not at the expense of my Longhorns, of course, but I mean, like they can win the Big Ten all they want, but I think that, again, Michigan is a fantastic job. He will get the support system that he needs. They have some of the best facilities they have. It's Michigan. It's like you said, it's still a blue blood program. And to see him get that opportunity, it might have been some wink, wink, nudge deals made in the back room somewhere in Ann Arbor, like on the golf course, something like that. Was like, hey, Sherrod, you see us through this, and we'll take care of you. And we'll see. We'll see.
Yo, I think Harbaugh actually did take care of him, and he was in that position where, do I go with you and be some coordinator that nobody ever hears from me ever again, or do I stay in Michigan and I'm the head coach of Michigan? I think it was one of those, like you said, golf course deals for him. I think that Harbaugh did take care of him, but I hope that Harbaugh's gone now, and now we not giving you that luxury that we gave Harbaugh. Because we all know when Harbaugh first got there, it was getting a little tumultuous. He was almost fired, 2 seasons ago? So, yeah, I hope that it's not one of those deals where we made the deal, but we're not going to stick to the deal because of who you are. I hope he gets a fair shake, knowing that he has the recruiting violations that his predecessors may or may not have had.
Yeah,
he had.
That 3-year probation means definitely had. Not may or may not. Definitely had. So yeah.
Yeah, when you go reach out to the NCAA, it's like
you got me. Yeah.
When the self-imposed violations start, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's like okay, mama, I'm being honest. I did break the dish. It's like, so don't whoop me, don't whoop me too bad, because I did break it. I'm not gonna lie to you, mama. And that's basically what Michigan did. It's like I didn't lie to you, mama. I did it. So instead of getting my ass whooped, can I get just some punishment? Maybe it's like, okay, Yeah.
Hey,
Okay. Yeah.
you went and put your own toys up and like I punished myself for 2 days, so that should count too. Not the other
Yeah.
week that you gave me, but I gave myself 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah. I unplugged the Nintendo myself, Mom. I unplugged it. I put it in the closet all by myself. You know, so,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So I wish him the best though. I do. I definitely wish him the best.
No, I really do. I'm not a Michigan fan.
Oh yeah.
But I always root for our colors.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you look at, I mean, we talking about this probe. Look at Alabama. Alabama, I know the NCAA don't have no Rooney Rule, but Alabama was like, I don't care if you got 30 qualified black coaches, and I don't care who it is. They could have hired Sharon Moore. He was the interim coach on the national championship team. They didn't even think twice. They was like, no, we want our guy, and that's who we gonna hire because we're gonna keep the tradition at Alabama of who our head coaches are.
That's right. It's
not
easy to get into some of these programs. So
it's not.
So obviously we'll watch it and see what goes on. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Switching gears real fast. The WNBA had their version of the draft last night. It was the most watched WNBA draft in television history. Got a 2.45 million viewers. I think it peaked over 3 million at one point, ESPN said. Obviously, it was headlined by Caitlin Clark going number 1 overall to the Indiana Fever. There wasn't a lot of surprises. But that's coming off a record 18 plus million viewers watching that national championship game between South Carolina and Iowa, with Caitlin Clark going against Dawn Staley's incredible South Carolina team. You had her get drafted. You had Cameron Brink, the outstanding center, going to the Sparks number 2, coming out of Stanford. Carmela Cardoso going number 3 to the Sky. Rakia Jackson going 4 to the Sparks. So they had 2 top 5 picks, did pretty well. Jason Stelton from Ohio State went to the Wings. Aaliyah Edwards from UConn went to the Mystics. Then the Sky got back into the mix, got Angel Reese, who I thought looked pretty darn good.
Holla if you hear me, Barry. Holla if you hear me. Holla if you hear me.
Yeah, exactly. But she looked pretty darn good going to the Sky, number 7 overall. So, very interesting draft. I think one of the names that actually got mentioned, was from UConn. The guard, what was her name? Nita. God, I can't remember her name. Nikita Mole. She went to the second round. But she was selected by the Storm. I think that was a good pick. She's a good, I think 3-and-D kind of guard. I think people thought she was going to go in the first round. She slid a little bit, but 14 overall pick, not terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah,
it's not a lot of teams in the draft. So really, honestly, Black Zach, tell me what you thought about the draft. You can talk about the players real quick, or just the impact that Caitlin Clark is having on the WNBA already. First woman in a Prada suit. Holla at your boy. So
yeah. It's like a lot of talk has been had amongst us about like her swag and stuff like that, and her her confidence or whatever like that. I mean, she was rocking that Prada. And I know something that I noticed, it was like she had on the all white similar to LeBron, and I was like, and I was like, oh, okay. And then Sirius actually brought it up, and I was like, I was like, if that's a coincidence, whatever. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that's kind of cool if she's like kind of paying her homage to LeBron. I think that was kind of cool. But getting to the actual basketball of it, man, I cannot wait to see her and Aaliyah Boston, how they mesh and how they gel and how they continue to build this team in Indiana, because in the WNBA we see it happen where these turnarounds happen all the time, and a lot of it's due to there aren't a lot of teams. So it's like teams go from picking one to being in the playoffs very quickly. It's like the turnaround is very easy. We saw the Lynx. The Lynx were the worst team in the WNBA for 3 years in a row. And they had 3 picks, and they got all these picks. And then they started a dynasty in Minnesota. It can happen. We go back to the very beginning with my comments, RIP to the comments, hope they bring them back. Won the first 4, champion. Then you have the Sparks had a little run there. The Storm with Lauren Jackson and some Bird, those teams were ridiculous, and then now you have that kind of like with the Aces now, where it's just like I don't see any end in sight for the Aces. It's just like, but the rest of the WNBA has improved. It's like the sky just got a lot better, through this draft. It is going to be very hard to do anything on the inside against the Chicago Sky this year. The Mystics, I kind of like what they did a little bit. They again, in WNBA, you can go from being at the bottom to going to the top very quickly, but I mean, the WNBA is just going to piggyback off of the college basketball wave. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like college basketball, women's basketball in general is hotter than it's ever been. I have to think back to probably the '96 Olympics. Like after, you had Teresa Weatherspoon and Dawn Staley and Lisa Leslie and all those, women. That, women's basketball hasn't been that hot because it's like basketball was so hot. People forget there were actually 2 women's leagues at that time. You had the WBL and you had the WNBA. And a lot of the players went to one league and went to the other, but it's like you had 2 leagues at one time, and of course that league didn't fare well, and then they ended up getting gobbled up by the WNBA. But man, I can't remember people talking about women's basketball as much as they did from back then, because it's like, man, those women were on Martin. They were on an episode of Martin. You know what I'm saying? That's how much of the culture they had grabbed and how much attention they had grabbed for women's basketball. And it's happening again. And again, we talk a lot about like how back in the day you had UConn, you had Tennessee, and Stanford would jump up there every once in a while. Notre Dame would kind of stick their nose in it every once in a while. Yep. But now it's just like the quality of women's basketball. We had a woman who plays for the University of Utah drafted in the first round of the WNBA draft. When's the last time a man from the University of Utah has been drafted that high? Had to go back to Andrew Bogut, and that was a long time ago. So yeah, that was a while ago. And it's just it's great to see that those what the numbers peaked. They were like a little bit over 3 mil last night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to see the attention that women's basketball is getting. I mean, Jake from State Farm was there, but I mean, he everywhere. You ain't never there. Why would he ever care? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I love to see this, especially as a hashtag girl dad. But I just love to see that people are paying attention to and talking about women's basketball. They said the Caitlin Clark jerseys were sold out in like minutes last night. As soon as they put them on sale, gone. The Aces. The Aces, who are the defending reigning champions, are like, you know what? We're going to have to move down the street to T-Mobile so we can fit more people in here because Caitlin Clark is coming. Team, and they're not the only team who are like, look, how can we get more people in our arenas? How can we get more, because more people are interested than ever in the WNBA, and it should be a fun summer. I can't wait to the ball tips off here pretty soon, because it's like they have the draft, and they'll be in training camp, and then like the season starts in a couple of weeks, so we don't have to wait long. We don't have to wait. We don't have to wait long, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about. I mean, my aunt goes to the Suns game at Mohegan Sun, right? Because she loves women's basketball and she loves to gamble.
I lost a lot of money there, so I'm right there with you.
I've got something I lost. Shout out to Auntie. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Sun said, we need to move the game to Hartford to get to a bigger game, right? If Caitlin Clark comes there, so to the XL Center. Anticipation before she even got drafted, people were buying tickets. You know what I mean? Tickets. So, her impact. Say what you want. You want to hate? Fine. She's a dollar. She's a dollar bill. So, she's printing money for the league. And you're absolutely right. The women's game hasn't been this strong since that '96 season. That women's version of the Dream Team, because that team made the WNBA. If it wasn't that team,
there's no WNBA.
Hostile conditions that they were in the Olympics, not getting the treatment that the men were getting, and balled out and put a spotlight on women's basketball. You don't have a WNBA. So, and I think the women's game, at least the college version, is so much healthier than the men's because of star power. The girls, they're stars. There are no stars in men's college basketball. None. The best player, I mean, you're looking at one of the first team All-Americans in Tristan Newton. I bet you not outside of basketball fans won't know who he is. And I'm a UConn fan. You know, I can say that wholeheartedly. Like, there's just star power in the WNBA, and they've been waiting for this kind of power. You had really great players come through the WNBA and make it what it was, but now you have star power. LJ, talk to me real quick about the WNBA, and then we'll let Sirius, who let himself in the room, comes late to my meeting, and it lets himself in. We'll let him talk in a minute. Clown. Who comes late to my
Yo, hey, he on the back seat today. Late with no hat on his head.
No hat, no
hatless, yes, hatless.
And drinking,
who is this? Who is this hatless man?
Yeah.
I got a hoodie on. I got a hoodie on now. I'm in uniform now.
Yeah, uniform.
I'm in uniform now.
LJ, talk to me about
He's pulling a Dion over here. He going from one game to the next. He probably had the chartered plane and everything to bring him in.
We here.
But hey man, you know what? So I'm gonna just say this about the WNBA draft, man. I love that the girls are getting this attention. You know, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I don't even care. Wonder what would have happened if Angel Reese if she would have pushed Angel Reese. How much weight does that comment hold now?
Right.
They're teammates. Like I said, I wonder how that's gonna go over in the locker room.
Yeah.
You gotta teach women how to be grown women. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, our parents used to always tell us, like, don't ever burn bridges at one job because your old boss may be your new boss. And when it comes to basketball, we all know any sports in general, it's a small world. Your old teammate may be your new teammate, and now your old rival is now your new teammate. And they have a chance to do something special because they gonna be that interior is gonna be a beast. And they in Chicago. So I mean, I know Chicago fans, you know, they like the Bulls, you know, they want to see a championship too. You know, like I said, we're gonna see how they play out, but it's kind of, you know, 360 that now that comment is taking full circle, and it don't look so pretty now. It actually makes somebody, we're not gonna say that person's name, look like a complete jackass. I hate to say it like that, but you know, hey, you know what? Steve was mentioning the Utah players.
Mm-hmm.
What surprised me the most was, and I get it, you know, here we all know women's basketball has always been kind of like third fiddle. I ain't gonna say second fiddle, it's been third fiddle because we'll watch NCAA basketball, men's basketball, before we were watching WNBA game. The thing that really surprised me was women's basketball has always been bigger overseas, but I don't know if you guys noticed in the first two rounds, there were like 4 foreign women's players drafted in the WNBA. That was the more surprising thing to me besides Caitlin Clark going first. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that was a done deal. But seeing now the foreign women are starting to be interjected into the WNBA, just like we see the interjection in the men's game. And that was the more surprising thing to me. You know, Caitlin Clark sold out immediately. They're talking about bigger stadium. They're talking about, you know, having to move to different arenas for her. I want to see what happens, you know, when this free agency comes up. You know, there's not that many teams in the NBA. We saw what happened with Vegas. We saw what happened with New York. They were like, oh, we got 2 stars. We got 3 other stars that are free agents. Yeah, let's just create our own little mini all-star team over here. So I want to see, now that Caitlin Clark's in Indiana, who's going to be willing to go and join with her and play with her. And now we're not like, okay, we got another Liberty Aces final. here we go again. Let's run back again. Now we do got a little drama interjected into the WNBA, and then maybe they could start selling more storylines, more attention to the game, because I've always been a dude that I look at things from the business aspect of it, and of course, it's always been, oh, the women have to fly, commercial. Oh, the women don't get this, but at the end of the day, the WNBA don't turn a profit. They haven't turned a profit in 20 years. The NBA has literally had to subsidize them for the league to even exist. I don't know any company that didn't turn a profit for 20 years that would even exist. But now, because of the star power, I do want to see them where maybe they can start turning a profit. Maybe they can start, getting probably not the same amount of money as the men, but getting it to where they're not having to fly a commercial, or they are able to get some of the things that the men's game is getting. I hope it brings attention to them to where now they can start, making some kind of money where they don't have to go play overseas, where they can pretty much stay at home. So I definitely like the star power. And Barry, you talked about the star power in the men's. All the star power in the men's is already in the league or in the G League. That's the reason why.
It's basically in the G League. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That's the reason why you don't see the men's or even hardly even know who these guys are, because they're not even in this NCAA. So now when we look forward to the NBA draft, it's like, okay, who's getting drafted from France, or who's getting drafted from some foreign team?
Yeah, because you're looking at the men's game, it's about the schools, it's about the program, and the women, it's about the women, the players. It used to be you, like you said, Steve, UConn, Tennessee, Stanford. Now it's the players on these teams. Like South Carolina was never a power. Now they're a power because they got the players. You know what I mean? We're talking about Iowa. And now the WNBA, to your point, Larry, is talking about expanding 2 more teams in the next 2 years, to get from 12 to 14 teams because of the Caitlin Clark effect, because of the revenue. Ticket prices,
but they got to start. They got
to in Connecticut for
but they got to start turning the profits. And I don't know if you guys heard some of these.
She's going to do that. I think she's going to start moving that needle and getting them to start making some money. You know what I mean? If you're talking about just her impact, if you're talking about a draft that last year, I'll be totally honest, I didn't even know was on TV, and I sat there and watched it. Okay.
So let me put this on y'all brain, fellas. And I always say that. Did you guys actually read the reports and the analysis about why the WNBA does not turn a profit?
No, but I mean,
I've read them. And that's why I said they need to be able to sell these stories of Caitlin Clark, of Angel and Reese and Cardoza being teammates. They need to make the game where people actually want to go and see it. They want these TV deals. They want these endorsements. They want these sell out stadiums, but it's not going to serve them any purpose if they sell out these stadiums and then people are like, I'm not going back. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to go back. And like I said, I read the analysis of why the NBA tried to sell the WNBA, because if we all know the women's game is more about fundamentals. You're not going to see guys jumping out the gym, and you're not going to see these miraculous, feats of athleticism that you see in the men. They try to sell as a wholesome game, fundamentally sound women's game, and they literally couldn't get people in the stands. So I'm hoping that because now they have the stories to sell, the women buy into these stories and let the NBA capitalize on them, like they did with a Bird and Magic, what they did with a MJ. They can sell these stories, and actually they can start making money. The WNBA was getting in their own way for years and years and years, and hopefully now they'll get out of their own way and make some money.
Yeah. Now you got to, like you said, you got to sell the league, and
you do
a lot for herself and sell the league, but now you got to help her. So I think that's what's going to happen. Serious. Thank you for joining, brother. Talk to me.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. Sitting here talking ball. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep it a buck. Okay. I think when it comes down to the WNBA, the draft yesterday. Again, this is the past month we've been talking about nothing but women's basketball, which is great. But at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark and this upcoming draft class has the opportunity to do something for the game that's never been done. Like, we all understand who Maya Moore was and what she meant to the game. She couldn't do this. No disrespect to Candace Parker, Rebecca Lobo, Shaniqua Holslaw, Cheryl Cooper, and all these women, Sue Bird, and all these women that came previously, but they couldn't move the needle like they moving the needle now. And I think it's because there's something that we love in sports called a rivalry, and there's something that we love in sports called a storyline. And right now, Caitlin Clark being the number one draft pick, going to the Indiana Fever with Aaliyah Boston from a year ago, that's put butts in seats. Can the Aces run the table like they ran the past 2 years? That puts butts in seats. You got Camila Cardoza with Angel Reese, now teammates. You know, Angel Reese said this yesterday. She's been playing against this girl since high school. You know what I'm saying? And now they're teammates. You know what I'm saying? The coach that we're not going to mention now looks like a dummy, because now these two women are now going to have to share the ball, play together, figure it out. So again, I sat here and watched it like everybody else did yesterday. I'm like, good, wow. Go ahead, ladies. You know what I'm saying? And again, the international aspect that we talked about, the NBA does a lot internationally, and that's something that the WNBA is lacking. So now you got all these international ladies coming over, playing ball, sending, you know, these ladies to play in World Cup events and Olympic events. That thus grows the game. So right now, as we currently sit here, the WNBA game and women's sports in general, is from the collegiate basketball level, is now in an excellent spot. I'm not going to say Caitlin Clark, you know, carries the torch for her, because let's keep it a buck. She's just one woman. But the rest of the ladies that are coming on alongside her, again, Camila Cardoza, that girl can ball. The chick from UConn, Edwards, she can ball. She can ball. You know, the other guard from UConn, the guard that got drafted first round, Amal, whatever her name is, she can ball. So there are women that are in today's game now that can hoop, and I guarantee you this is not going to be the last time that we sit on this particular boardroom and talk women's basketball, because like to Steve's point, it's only a matter of time and they tipping this thing off. And we're going to sit here and watch the season opener and see what Caitlin Clark does. We're going to sit there and watch what happens when the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever play each other, and you got Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston playing Cardoza and Angel Reese. That's going to be must-see TV. Before, nobody gave a rat's behind about the WNBA. Nobody cared. So to Larry's point, now we have needle movers. Now you have something. You have marketable, tangible something that you can sell. You know what I'm saying? Caitlin Clark just inked the six-figure Nike deal yesterday. The moment she got drafted, she inked the six-figure Nike deal. Camila Cardoza is getting endorsements from, I saw it was from Buffalo Wild Wings. Mm-hmm. Now these women are starting to sell themselves, which is something that they weren't able to do that the men were. So shout out to them for doing what they need to do, man. But yo, it feels good to be back in the building. What's going on, fellas? Yeah. And by the way, the Lakers are winning by 4.
Yeah, they're winning by 4. I was going to say that, but and be clear, women are coming. Like Juju is coming, right? Paige Beckers is coming. Like the women's game is in a good spot. Like there are women's players that are still in college that are coming.
Did you guys see the USA versus World high school game last week? No. Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I watched it last week. There are some girls that are committed to these universities that are in the same position this year like Juju Watkins was in last year. Nobody knew who Juju was before she burst onto the scene. There are freshmen that are being signed to these universities that are coming. And again, I'm not putting all of it on Caitlin Clark, but damn, this girl and this particular draft class has really revolutionized the game of basketball for so many different girls coming up. Hell, my daughter may end up playing now. Who knows?
Right. I mean, you got like girls like Georgia Amore that went to Kentucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sonia Citron at Notre Dame. You got, I mean, Olivia Miles at Notre Dame. They're gonna have some good players. You know, Fudd. She's healthy at UConn. She was hurt all year. Aziz Fudd. They're coming. They're coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's gonna be a lot of good players coming up. So shout out to the women's game. It's really healthy. I'm happy for them. You know, I used to give it crap like LG. You know, like you were saying, like, hey, they're not turning a profit. I don't want to hear about equality and pay and all that kind of stuff. I'll keep it a buck, but they're gonna get.
Well, I mean, you know, it's like, you know, it's one of those things where we'll keep it, like you say, we'll keep it a buck. A lot of HBCUs, they get in their own way, and with the women were getting in their own way for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that they'll, let's just say it, the NBA is a monster. NBA knows how to turn a profit. The NBA knows what they need to do. Yeah, so now the WNBA, we need y'all to play along. We need our stars to play along. Like, we know David Stern has went to Michael Jordan and said, look, we need you to play along. He's went to numerous players and say, look, we need y'all to play. We didn't get that McDonald's.
The blueprint is there. The blueprint is there. It's a copy and paste league. The blueprint is there. All you got to do is follow what LeBron James does marketing. Follow what KD does. Like I said a second ago, Caitlin Clark just inked the Nike shoe deal worth 6 figures. Name me another WNBA person that has a 6-figure shoe deal right now. Yeah. Bet you can.
And I bet she could. She probably got a good deal. She probably could have got more than that. And a lot's going to be
right
her. For the next.
The only sad part is
to bear it. You know,
the only thing I will say is that most women don't like to see other women be successful, so they can all play along. Hey, I had to say it, man. Look.
You're not wrong, because it's like everybody wanted to kind of say that, you know, Big Papa Pump, Angel Reese was kind of hating on Caitlin Clark a little bit, and it's like I said it to my older brother. I might have said it to you guys too. If she was smart, I'd get that money with her. Like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had that commercial, that Converse commercial at Larry's house with Magic Johnson coming out the limo playing one-on-one. Get your money with this girl. Don't hate. Participate.
They had the Converse commercial. They had the McDonald's joint where they played horse, and Larry Bird was like, "No dunking." Like, yeah, I mean, get paid. Again, the blueprint is there. It's not hard.
Take the money together. No. Like, the best thing you could have done. I don't know if it would have been possible. Is when Caitlin Clark was on SNL. On that that skit with Michael Che and be right there with her, come right in there with, get that money together, because it's only the money's gonna circulate, so it's gonna be fun.
You remember what I said? She could have went and brought her the crown that she literally sat in front of her while she was warming up. Sell it.
Get money together.
Look, did y'all watch the Magic Johnson interview when he talked about Nike? He said, man, I would have made so much money off of Michael Jordan. I would have been ridiculous. Like, dude, get money together. Like, stop that, get money together. And that's one thing I want to see. Let the NBA, they gave you the blueprint, now follow the blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get it together. The NBA season has come to the close. Sirius alluded to the fact that the Lakers and the Pelicans are playing right now. The Lakers are, what is the score? I don't even know what the score is.
104-102 right now.
104-102.
Anthony Davis is at the line shooting the free throws. We're 14.8.
Yeah, I'm like looking on my TV. It's totally behind, so I'm like behind on the news here. So, but either way, the play-in is upon us. But I definitely want to recap the NBA season. I want to ask the group. I'll start with you, Sirius, since you came in a little later. I definitely want to give you a chance to speak. You know, it was a great season. The last month was really fast paced. The last day of the season was really special just to get a lot of teams positioning, especially out west. The Thunder ended up getting the 1 seed. Shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Best, I think, probably one of the best seasons in their franchises, at least since they've been in Oklahoma City in their franchise history. The Celtics wire to wire. Knicks get the 2 seed. Bucks the 3 seed. What have you? Serious. I want to know from a team perspective, what team was your biggest surprise of the season, and what team was your biggest disappointment of the year? You can go either way, whichever one you want, but I definitely want to get everybody's POV on the biggest surprise team of the season and the biggest disappointment.
I think honestly, out west, the biggest surprise team for me was the Minnesota Timberwolves. I did not expect the Minnesota Timberwolves to burst on the scene the way they did. And before I came in, you were talking about the Team USA roster. And Anthony Edwards really last summer during that offseason USA stint really took his game to the next level. And that translated from last summer into this 82 game season. So for them to climb out of, I think they were in the lottery last year, or definitely, flirting with the play-in or whatever, for them to climb all the way up to the 3 seed is nothing short of spectacular. I got to tip my cap to them. In Eastern Conference, I give you a lot of crap. I really do. But watching what the Knicks did this year, chef's kiss. Chef's effing kiss. Now, I don't know if it's going to translate into playoffs because I think you're going to end up playing a team that has you guys' number either in Miami or Philly. But chef's kiss for what you guys were able to accomplish. The Knicks haven't been a 50-win ball club since I was in middle school, grade school. You know what I'm saying? So, chef's kiss for them. Negatively, I don't want to throw the Bucks under the bus, but I'm throwing the Bucks underneath the bus here. This team right now, they were a better team with David Griffin there. They played defense. They were a team that seemed like they had an identity and was on a mission. I'm not too sure why Giannis got into management's head. Blew him out there, brought in Doc Rivers, and this has been a middling 500 team ever since. And now they're limping toward the playoffs with understanding that Giannis may not even play the first round against the Indiana Pacers. And let's keep it a buck. Indiana may mess around and beat them in 6. Let's keep it a buck here. So Milwaukee have been playing around all year. So I'm negatively impacted by them. And in the Western Conference, I don't know, man. Like you could say the Lakers, but the Lakers are on the brink of getting a 6 seed right now. Phoenix played with their food all year long. They could never stay healthy. Kevin Durant once again orchestrated a super team and Phoenix as if he didn't have a super team his whole career, and yet you're still a 6 seed. So I'm curious to see how that series shakes out for them. I don't want to poo-poo my Rockets. The two of us are going to have a whole show about that. But for us to be at 500 after all the nonsense we've been through previously, I'm gonna give Ime some rest there. But the West was just fun to watch, man. The West was just fun to watch. And again, I said this before, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna shut up. I have to publicly apologize to Steve Black Zach Lazar. I have to publicly do this, okay? Because when Wemby was drafted, he and I had some some words on social media about how he would fare his NBA debut season. I thought he would be a bust. I thought he wouldn't make it. I thought he would get pushed around. This brother can ball. This brother can ball. And Steve was like, nah, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. No, this brother can ball. So shout out to Steve. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man of my word. I got to come in here and eat my eggs. But I was impressed watching Wembley this year.
I gotta give him props, man. He's gonna play. Had a pretty impressive rookie season. I wish the team was better, but it is what it is.
Same record as last year, which is wild. Yeah.
Did he have an impact? Well, so we'll see. Black Zach, who disappointed you and who impressed you as the biggest surprise this season?
I'm just gonna say this. I expected more out of my Rockets. I thought we could get one of those play-ins, spots. I just thought with just everything coming in, with Udoka and stuff. Sengun going down was huge for them. I would have liked to see this team with Sengun in that lineup down the stretch. So disappointed, I wouldn't say. It's just like they fell somewhat short of my expectations. So I just want to say that because we all know this is a 75% Rockets fan podcast right now, but so I'll leave that alone. But for me, my actual biggest disappointment is the Suns, because I thought more of them. I thought, okay, this seems like a perfect mix of but then it's like they ended up not getting a point guard. Because when they made this move for Bill, I'm like, okay, they're gonna get that point guard, then they're gonna start cooking out in the desert. And they never got that point guard. They never bought in on defense. They never did anything that I'm like, okay, well, clearly if you make this deal for Bill, you're gonna do some other stuff, and then you'll keep it going. And they just never did, and they just kind of muddled around. But it's interesting because we all know, the T-Wolves are my precious baby boys, and I love them to death. But it's like this Suns team, because of that experience, because they have guys who've been there, done that, this could be a dangerous series I think the T-Wolves are a better team, but this time of year, that experience matters so much. Yeah. Being here before. Because, look, the T-Wolves, it's been a great story. People have been paying attention to them, but we all know those playoff lights are bright and they're hot. And it's either you're going to shine under them or you're going to wither away. And I'm just worried that these youngsters might wither away. Now, they have some guys who've been in the playoffs before on the team. I mean, people make a lot of fun of Pat Bev when they won the play-in game. He had they had won the championship, but, that's neither here nor there. But, I thought the Suns would be better. And I was very disappointed in the Suns because and I guess that's my fault because I thought, well, they're going to do other things to improve this roster, improve this team, and then they'll be right up there in the upper half of the West, and they just never did. As far as I'll go out. My biggest surprise, the Orlando Magic. And now we talk about with the T-Wolves, and I feel like I love the T-Wolves, but we talk about them all the time. I won't say the depth. We talk about them all the time. So I'm just gonna go a different way. In the Orlando Magic, this is a good team. Yeah. They're good. They're young. Yeah, they're like I said in the group chat. They're playing in the series that only a mother can love. Cavs Magic brought to you by NBA TV. But but
True TV.
Yeah, those games might be tape delayed. Who knows? What I'm saying? It's but it's just I love the coach. I love Paulo. I love Mark Hill. I love Wagner. It's they have such a good young team and they play such a refreshing brand of basketball. To see young guys who play defense, who move the ball, who like playing with each other. It's you see so many young teams that just play like AAU squads. And it's refreshing to see a team that plays as a team with a lot of young guys. And I'm interested to see what they do in the playoffs against a Cavs team that, I've been I've been high, I've been low. I've ridden the roller coaster with the Cavs all year, as I'm sure Cavs fans have, because they had a stretch where they look, man, the Cavs, look at the Cavs, look at the Cavs. You know, I think on the very first show that we did, the very first boardroom meeting, I was like, man, y'all watch out for the Cavs. And then they
were a 2 seed.
Yeah. Then they promptly fell. I mean, injury bug hit them in Cleveland pretty tough, but then they fell off the table. I mean, but they got it back together toward the end, you know, and made a run and kind of got back, you know, into the playoff picture. So yeah, it's like the Magic, my biggest surprise, because I love the way this young team plays. Because again, you talk about, you know, people coming and like here they come. It's like the Magic, they can keep this core together, they're only gonna get better. You know, and then again, you talk about, do people want to go play in San Antonio with Wemby? That's going to be a tough sell. It's not a tough sell to get people to go to Orlando. So they might be able to get some of these guys to come down there. Like the weather's nice most of the time, no state income tax. You know, you have some good young players. You know, I'm interested to see what the Magic. I mean, look, when the Magic win the NBA championship, we'll all be sitting here, you know, like on the floor. So it's good to see they got in the playoffs. They'll get that playoff experience, like the Kings. The Kings made the playoffs last year. They got that playoff experience, and it was good for them for the long run. So I love to see that the Magic made the playoffs. They'll get this playoff experience, and we'll see what they do moving forward. I'm interested to see what that young team does and how they continue to build. So, yeah, those are my biggest surprises and disappointments. And I'll say one last thing before I go. It's like, look, this is hard for me to say. You know, since we're like, you know, talking about eating cross stuff like that, it's the Mavericks. I thought were done. I thought they were toast. You know, I was like, the Mavericks. They're not interested. They're ready to go home. And something happened. I don't know what Jason Kidd said or did, but something happened to their team in Dallas, and they're dangerous. And the Clippers better watch out. And anybody playing the Mavs better watch out, because they are playing. And you want teams playing their best at this time of year, so and they're peaking. So it's like that Clippers Mavs series. I'm gonna be like kind of sleep. I'm gonna have to like crack open some Red Bulls and some coffee to stay up and watch some of those games, because I'm locked in on that series for sure.
Yeah, say what you want about Jason Kidd, that dude can coach.
He can coach. He's a fantastic coach. Yeah.
He's a really good coach. Shout out to the Thunder coach for winning Coach of the Year, Mark Diganu. I probably butchered his name, but Jamal Mosley, you know, from Orlando, he got votes, and votes, and Finch got votes, but well deserved for the Thunder. LG, talk to me, brother. LG Electronics, right? We'll call you that.
Man, life's good.
What was your biggest disappointment and surprise this year?
So first thing I want to say is to Aaron that you know you lost that fantasy championship, that TV championship, and you know who was sitting on my roster killing you? Wembley. I drafted him early because I knew what he was gonna do. And that
I ain't worried about you.
That brother came through. He came through. Hey,
yeah, the war of
out.
Attrition that was the fantasy basketball league.
Yeah, that everybody and their mama got hurt in that joint, man.
Hey, but I was the one consistent. Hey, but Wembley,
you went out both. So it was good though.
Who had Josh
Wembley came through.
Say who?
Yeah, Wembley.
What? Josh Hart.
Ain't nobody had Josh Hart.
Oh,
Fills up the stat sheet, man.
Yeah, I had Josh.
I don't remember who you had.
I had Josh Hart too, but yeah, he came through for me. But you know, let's keep it East Coast, fellas. Let's keep it East Coast. So I will say this, Barry, my surprising team, the Knicks. You know, I know we mentioned it before, and you guys know, y'all have heard me say it 100 times. Like, it's not because he's been balling his ass off, but Jalen Brunson also plays in New York. Like, I really think that this guy, people are handing the MVP to Shai Gilgeous, but I really think he's gonna get some votes. That's a big media market, and I'm quite sure a lot of people are getting votes. And we all know the Knicks. The Knicks, you know, like you said, the last 20 seasons, the highest they got up to was like the 4th seed or something like that. They actually are the number 2 seed. And people are expecting, just because they might end up with the Sixers, Embiid's hurt again, they'll probably beat them. You know, and we mentioned the Magic. I don't want to run into the Magic if I'm the Celtics. Like I've gotten into this so many times with so many people. I don't know what's going on in the NBA league office, what's going on why the Rockets can't win a draft to say they like. But I wanted Banchero. I wanted him over Smith. I was mad the Rockets did not win that championship because the Magic are balling out. Yeah, they have a lot of other complimentary pieces. I'll keep it a buck. The one guy that I didn't see really kind of helping that team out a lot was Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs is actually playing really good.
Jalen Suggs is a baller, man.
I liked him. I liked when he came out.
Well, that first season he was a little rocky, so I didn't know what you were going to get from him. But they are actually playing good, and hey, you don't want to be that 1 seed Boston who's notorious for falling apart, and you got to look at these Magic in the face. So I'll give them that credit. Like I say, but Jalen Brunson has really amazed me. I didn't see this coming. Dude dropped 63 the other night, and that dude's been balling. I'm not gonna say he's carrying that team because they're getting a hell of a coaching job. Nobody saw DiVincenzo. That's how you say his name.
Dante DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo. That guy has really been balling too. Josh Hart, that team, they've been playing really good. I just hope that, of course, Tibbs didn't burn them out, but they were surprised. I did not see this coming from the Knicks at all. I thought they were going to be, one of those middle of the pack, maybe, 5th, 6th seed teams. I did not see that coming. Keeping it in the East, I'll say this has been my disappointment. The Atlanta Hawks. We all wanted to see playoff Trey. We want to see him with a full season with DeJounte Murray. We all wanted to see what was going to be the fallout from, was it Nate McMillan gone now because Trey wanted him out. But we all was like, what's going on with the Hawks have been literally damn near irrelevant all season. I haven't seen them on a primetime game all season. They got Trae Young. I know he's been hurt.
He got hurt.
Yeah, but he came back. But they still haven't done crap. And they're going to be going home early. They've been such a disappointment to me that now they're actually thinking at the trade deadline. I remember they was talking about trading Javonte Murray.
Yeah.
They're almost at the point where they're doing they literally traded John Collins because they banked on what's the other guy? The guy from Virginia that they drafted. I forgot his name, but they traded John Collins and was like, oh, he's better. And they drafted another guy. He was in the first round last year. I forgot it was. They're like, oh, they're going to be better. The Hawks are going to be the new team. And they got supplanted by the Knicks. I mean, there was a lot of expectations for the Hawks this season that now they're maybe they're the 8th seed or 9th seed or something. Oh, they're in the play-in. And they might be bounced out in the play-in. Yeah, so that's been my biggest disappointment when it comes to Eastern Conference. With the West, I don't want to sound like that guy who's going with the trend or whatever, but OKC, they're the number 1 seed. We've seen these teams, these super teams that get built, and that's why I don't think you've seen a big jump for the Spurs, even though they've added Wembley, because you got to remember they're competing not against 1 or 2 super teams. And if you're playing in the West, then now you don't play these teams twice a year. You play these teams 6-7 times a year. So now you don't see that big jump that you would have may have saw in the East that you see on the Spurs. But you see all of these super teams, all of these Lakers with LeBron and AD and all these, you see all these super teams. And OKC has a collection of first-round picks. They have a lot of first-round picks on that team, young talent, and they were able to weather the storm and be the number 1 seed. Now, of course, playoffs, game's going to change up a little bit. Experience kicks in. We don't know how that's going to play out, but my surprising team, and I'll stick with it, has been OKC. OKC, you can put a bunch of young, good, talented guys together, and that don't mean it's going to translate into wins. We've seen the Rockets. The Rockets have 40 number 1 picks, and it took for them to get Udoka to even look like a resemblance of a team. So OKC has been my surprising team. I like I said, for my disappointing team, I'm gonna go, against the grain. The Warriors. The Warriors are facing elimination, and I get it. They want to run it back again. But to me, with the Warriors was the biggest complaint that they said was, okay, it's when Curry comes off the court. How does the second team, work out? And that was their biggest problem. And they never identified that one of their biggest problems is they don't have any size. So who rebounds? And Draymond and his timber tantrums, because Draymond's like that filler to assist on the boards, to bring the ball up, take a little pressure off of Steph. Like they said, the second team was the problem when Curry comes off, and they got Chris Paul. So Chris Paul was supposed to be okay. Now the second team is not gonna, have any lapses when Curry comes off. But then Chris Paul gets hurt again, like always. And then now it's like you don't even see a resemblance of a team that literally won the championship, 2 years ago? Was it 2 or 3? You see 2 years ago, this team literally don't even look like they even have championship medal. And it's because of all of dysfunction. Is because the things that they were banking on playing out did not play out. You can't bank on Chris Paul being healthy. You got to bank on Chris Paul giving you what Chris Paul can give you. 40, 50 games. He's going to be able to, run the offense, when he's playing, if he's not hobbled. But yeah, they've been a big disappointment to me. I thought they were going to be like, okay, this is the last hurrah. They were going to some kind of work their way up into the top tier of, having some type of home court advantage, even though that's not been their strong suit. Once again, another year, they're losing games left and right at home, which is surprising. But yeah, they've been the biggest disappointment to me. These Warriors are just breaking my heart. But yeah.
Yeah, man.
Even though they finished the season on 27 and 12. They had to go really supernova just to get into the last spot.
The play-in. Yeah, they had to go supernova. They were battling with Houston for the past 2.5 weeks or whatever for that play-in thing. They got it. You know what I'm saying? And they find themselves up against a familiar opponent right now, the Sacramento Kings. So this game's gonna be fun.
It almost pisses you off because they like 12 games over after Draymond came back. They've been like 12 games over 500 since Draymond came back. So it's like, okay, our whole season has been a disaster because Draymond, you want to be a knucklehead.
One guy. Yeah, and he goes on his podcast and tells you that too. It's so annoying. But
yes.
Just a lot of things didn't work out for the Warriors. That the young guys that they were banking on, like Poole and Kuminga, didn't develop enough. Kuminga starting
Wiseman.
Wiseman, they were starting to come, Kuminga's starting to come on, but a little too late. Wiggins hasn't been dependable, for personal reasons or what have you. So, yeah, the Warriors, I think, for as much talent as they had, as much money that they're spending on that team is disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the biggest disappointment it has to be the Bucks. And I hate to pile on, but you made a big trade for Damian Lillard. And a guy that has been in Portland and has been accustomed to either first round exits, one deep run, but just looking for a superstar help, he gets traded. Now, albeit he's going through personal issues, he's not happy in Milwaukee. He wanted to go to Miami. Everybody knew that, but he was still in the situation and was pretty much bought in to play with Giannis, and it hasn't worked out. They lost that defensive edge when they had to get rid of a Holiday to bring him in, and it's not working. I love the fact that everybody's piling on Doc Rivers and throwing it at his feet. Because they were above, like a 20 game above 500 team before he came in there, and then they've fallen off the rails since he got there. But this team shows no sense of urgency. They play no defense, and you got a guy that's a defensive player of the year there. Make it make sense. I throw this all at Giannis's feet, and part of it you could say it's at Dame's feet, but like I said, he's going through personal issues, what have you. Giannis is the guy. You're a 2-time MVP, and you haven't figured this out. You've run every coach out of there. You run the coach that won you a championship out of the building. Okay? Like, what are we talking about here with this guy? So I think he needs to start being held accountable like we hold KD accountable for certain things that happened in Brooklyn, right? Like, we got to hold his feet to the fire. I don't know how he gets absolved from everything that's going on in here. I think it's as much as his fault as anybody else. So even though they're a 3 seed, they're a disappointing 3 seed. They were supposed to be neck and neck with Boston, and I don't see them. If they had gotten the 2 seed and were playing like Philadelphia, they get bounced, plain and simple. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers take it to them. That's just how I am with them right now. The surprising team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, because we said it last year, Sirius. We said the play-in tournament for them was such an experience for them, right? And now you look at them, they're a year or two ahead of schedule. I felt like they were maybe 6, 7 seed. I said they were going to be. They're the best team in the West, and they're the best team in the West. They are the best team in the West. I'll say it one more time. They are the best team in the West. They need to get their respect. I mean, everybody.
Hey Barry, they're the best team in they're the best team in the West, and they still sitting on everybody's draft picks.
Yeah, and it's like it's so disrespectful, Larry. Like everybody say, "Oh, the Lakers should tank because they'd much rather face the Thunder than the." Put some respect on the Thunder. Like I understand that maybe they're a rebounder away from being an elite team, but they're the best team in the West. They didn't win these games by mistake. They're a damn good basketball team, and they got a damn good coach. And SGA is, to me, one of the best players in the league this year. So they don't get enough props. They don't get enough respect. And it's really unfortunate that, people are saying they're the weakest 1 seed we've seen. Like, you don't win all those games to be called a weak 1 seed. I think that's garbage. So they need to get their respect. But obviously in the East, I'll say it, man.
If that was in the East, it'd be different, but not in the West.
Right, exactly. And I mean, the Knicks to be a 2 seed from where they were to, when Julius Randle went down, like you have to understand when Anunoby came, they hadn't really lost a game. They lost 1 game from that OG trade. Randle, they were starting to cook. We were talking about at that point that they were the team to challenge Boston. And then Randle went down, and it was like, I hope they just make the play-in. And they're the 2 seed. You know what I mean? That's an accomplishment in itself. I mean, and I heard people say it, talking about Jalen Brunson, who I agree with you guys it should get some MVP votes. Jalen Brunson is a 2-time college basketball champion and a former player of the year in college basketball and was drafted in the 2nd round. People missed on this guy. Like, as a Knick fan, I think me and Sirius talked about it. I was happy when we got Jalen Brunson. I said, we finally got a point guard. And I was like, he's got the potential to be an all-star. And that was about as it's the ceiling I got. This guy is first team All-NBA. Like, it was like a crying shame for me that he didn't make the starting lineup for the NBA All-Star game over Dame Lillard. Now it's like, it'll be a crime if he didn't make first team All-NBA this year. Like, that's how good this guy's, and his ceiling, it keeps going. Like, he has had an unbelievable season. Nobody knew he was this good. Like, he was going to be this good. Not even him, I think, or his dad. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knew this. And it's a testament to him. You know what I mean? He's up for an extension. Pay that man his money. All right? We're talking rounders, right? Like Matt Damon talk.
Right.
Man,
pay him his money.
Pay that man his money.
You know what I mean? Like,
he beats me straight up.
He beats me straight up. Like, don't let him walk out the building, right? And what I love about the Knicks is everybody is perfect for their role. DiVincenzo, who is getting jobbed out of the Most Improved Player award, he's not even eligible for the award. He's a prime candidate, right? He can't get it. He's perfect. Everybody was like, all off season, and that's the only guy we brought in. How we looking now with DiVincenzo, right? Nick fans, stand up because you guys were talking crap about bringing this kid in here, and he's fit perfectly.
Another Nova guy.
Was Nova guy. The perfect trade. I would have liked to get OG and Siakam, but you see why Toronto had such a high value on this kid because he is the perfect 3-and-D guy. Perfect 3-and-D guy. He will defend your best player, and then he doesn't need the ball in his hand to score. He can get it off the kick and sit in the corner and drain threes. Like he fits way better than RJ Barrett did, and that's why we're winning right now. Josh Hart is the energy guy that does everything. Rebounds. He can score you some points. He assists. He defends. He's the perfect guy. Hartenstein having an unbelievable season. Now you're getting Mitchell Robinson back into the flow. He's starting to do his thing. That trade for Bogdanovic is going to be huge in the playoffs because now you got depth, a guy that can score off the bench. Precious Achiuwa is an energy guy off the bench. McBride is coming to his own. Unbelievable off the Knicks. It's funny because all these guys, if you took them off this team, put them on another team, they'd be okay. But you put this collection together, they're dangerous, and I love it. So they are a big surprise with the Thunder to me. And out west, the disappointment, I got to kind of agree with you guys. I expected more from the Suns. I like them getting Isaiah Thomas as a point guard. It might be a little too late, but I still think they're dangerous, right? I think they can make some noise because I'm not sure if Cat's going to be ready. Like, even if he does play, I don't think he's going to be that effective. So a veteran Suns team with Booker and Durant, who's played the whole season pretty much and carried that team until they got it together. I like what I see. And you know who I got to give a little credit to? The Clippers. 51 wins for a team that we thought was a mess when they made that trade. They pulled, and they're better than a 51-win team at one point. They were, they were on pace for a ridiculous amount of wins, and then they kind of cooled off pretty quickly. But Russ has accepted his role. Harden's there. Kawhi's pretty much been there. PG in and out, but to see them be a 51-win team when that trade happened, and I thought it was an absolute mess. I thought it was like break up the Clippers. I got to give them a little bit of props too. So the West is just so good.
You talk about underrated and people who go by the wayside. The Clippers coach, one of the best coaches in the NBA that nobody gives the respect to. Ty Lue's a fantastic coach, and he continues. When we talk about best coaches in the league, he continuously gets left out of that conversation. I don't understand why. Because again, to win 51 teams with that team, with everything that was going on, on the court and off the court and everything, all that stuff like that. Like once again, Ty Lue, a championship coach, a coach who has won a champion, he continues to get overlooked and kind of like underrated. So I just want to make sure to sneak in some Ty Lue love there.
Yeah, I always give him his props. I agree with you, Sidekick. To me, he's always a guy that doesn't get enough appreciation. But the West, like I said, it's just we haven't even talked about the Nuggets. We haven't talked about the Nuggets.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are South Carolina. The Nuggets are South Carolina.
Yeah. You about to talk about it now? They about to make quick work of the Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers.
Hey, I don't.
Against the Pelicans. The Pelicans will play the winner of this game that's happening right now. Sacramento Kings and the Warriors. The Kings are up 25-18 right now. At least that on my screen, probably a little bit of a delay.
It's 25-20.
Yeah, but I got a little bit of I got internet, so it's a little bit.
Hey Barry, I actually give the Clippers a lot more credit than the Suns. I mean, because we've seen it happen a bunch of times where you assemble these super teams and somebody's missing, and it hinders them all season long. Bradley Beal was missing, and then they had so many people in and out the lineup. First it was KD, then KD came back, and then Book got hurt for a little bit, and he came back and trying to interject all three of them together. We've seen it before where they struggle for they limp through the season. But I actually give the Clippers a lot more credit. They gelled quick. People thought it was going to be to the All-Star game or later by the time they gel, and they gel quick. They gel real quick, and they deep. They real deep.
As
Yeah,
as a card carrying member of the James Harden hate club, I cannot. I mean, here's the deal. I want to see what they do now.
Yeah.
I because at the end of the day, this assortment of talent with PG-13 and Kawhi, and they've been at this for a good period of time, and they constantly keep finding themselves getting bounced before the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
I will consider this Clippers team a success if they make it out of this round. And let's keep it a buck. We just talked about how good the Dallas Mavericks are. I'm not too sure they're going to get out of this round. Because this Dallas Maverick team, again, I'm choking on what I'm about to say, is one hell of a ball club.
Yeah.
And as a Houston Rocket fan, I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah, it was hard for me to admit it. It's like, I mean, they're balling. As much as it hates for me, as much as it hates for me, and Larry noticed, as much as it hates for me to give that team up 45 any credit, I got to give them credit. They have put it together, and they're playing some fantastic basketball.
Luka
we'll see.
Figured it out. They figured it out, and they those trades, those quiet little trades they made at surely help, because now they have some size, they have some toughness in the middle. So
rooting for Dallas is like rooting for your ugly stepsister. It's like,
I can't do it.
I just like to see Luka.
Still family, but golly, it's like,
I don't like you, man.
No,
the thing is, I'm not a Harden bash.
It's like, no, they're the weird cousin. They're not even the ugly stepsister. It's like they're the weird cousin. That you don't really, you see him at the family function. It's like, oh, hey, Travis, what's going on?
You showed up. Oh no,
what's going on? And like, you all right? You still doing that, huh? All right, no, that's what.
You just keep moving now.
Yeah. Right? I said, what? Yeah.
Prepaid legal, right? All right, okay.
There you go.
All right.
I'm sure it's a bunch of Rockets fans that's wanting them to win to beat Harden, because there's more Harden haters here than Mavericks fans. But
again, I'm in the middle of Sophie's choice right now. Like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard spot, because in order for James Harden to lose, the Mavericks have to win.
Yeah.
But in order for the Mavericks to win, I'm stuck.
It's such hard life you lead, seriously.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a Sophie's choice, because it's like, okay, yeah, James Harden advancing it, but I mean, but you know what? Look, if you guys want more Rocket takes, make sure to tune into the Launchpad. Coming to you soon. I'll save some of the.
Sheesh.
I will say this. So
back. Yeah, but yeah.
I will say this though. If you're looking at Mavericks and you're looking at Clippers, and set aside the hate for the Mavs, and set aside whatever you feel about James Harden, I'm rooting for Westbrook. I've been a Westbrook fan. That guy gonna give you 110% all fucking day, all day. And
I didn't say it, Spears. I didn't say it. Larry said it.
Look, hey, if I gotta, hey, look, if the cost of Westbrook winning something requires James Harden, I'm all for it.
It's easy to hate on him on Westbrook, but it's also easy in the same breath to give him his props and he needs his respect. You know what I mean? He does need his respect.
Yes, Aaron. Yes, let's give Russell Westbrook some respect on this show. How about that?
Yes.
You go
Do
first.
it, Aaron.
You go first. You go first.
It's just a hater.
All the bashing they gave Westbrook, he's accepted everything they thrown at him, and that's the one guy in the league. It's the one guy in the league that you can never say he didn't leave it out on the court. Never.
Right.
Never cheated the game.
I don't have to say anything to defend the game. Get him.
You can't say.
Is his camera? Is his mic muted? You're not talking? He's not talking.
I'm not. I'm not. You know, I'm gonna say this. You know, again, shout out to TP real quick.
Yeah.
A wise man said, "Don't argue with fools." Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop.
Nah, listen,
Hey, look.
it's gonna be fun.
It's
gonna
like-
be a fun one.
Oh yeah.
It's like seeing Greg Oden win a championship because you know all the things he went through, but you had to sacrifice LeBron championship for it. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I just can't. But again, the Mavericks team has made a Western Conference Finals run before, so it's definitely possible, and the path is there.
Yeah.
I just wish Luka would come into the season in shape. That's why I give him such crap. But you know, whatever.
Round is the
All
shape.
I
What are you
think-
talking about?
Yeah.
round.
Yeah, he's round as a shape.
Yeah, round is basketball. Listen, real quick before
Look.
we get out of here in tournament.
As long as LeBron goes home early, I'm good.
Yes, sir. LeBron
Early exit for the Lakers.
against the Pelicans, right? The Sac Kings are up on the Warriors right now, and then you got the Eastern Conference with those two games. You got the Sixers and the Miami Heat. Playoff Jimmy is a thing. Will he turn it on? Is Embiid healthy? How many minutes will Trae Young give you the Hawks versus the Bulls? Bulls kind of underachieved with kind of some injuries, obviously with Levine and company. With Levine and Ball.
Talk about another surprise team, though. The Bulls. That's another surprising thing because I mean they could have really packed it in.
Yeah, they could.
But you know, Kobe White is balling.
Yeah, Kobe White, 19 points a game. You know, he's
Tar Heel.
balling out. He deserved the contract he got. So, talk to me about this real quick, LG, before we get out of here. What are you looking forward to in the play-in tournament?
So of course, you know, we've already had the Laker game, and I love it. You know what? I'm gonna go into my LeBron bashing self. I wouldn't have never heard them tell MJ you should lose a game so you don't have to play against the Knicks or you don't have to play against, you know, Reggie Miller. But they were literally over here saying, oh, they should lose a game because you have no chance in hell against the Nuggets. Like, I love the fact that they won. I love it. I hope that the Nuggets sweep them again. I hope it's not even close. I hope somebody comes to the arena with "Is this your king?" sign with him laid out. You know, hey, I hope that somebody sits back and says, "Oh, we need to trade for every All-Star to help LeBron limp to his next championship." You know, I hope that I hate to go buck nasty on them. I hope everything evil falls upon them, and I hope that they're
Hey! I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yes.
I don't even know you.
I hate your guts.
Yes, I hope that they're at home fishing.
Right.
You know, with this game right now, you know, I hate it to say, you know, if it's the end of a dynasty, it's the end of a dynasty. But I love the Kings. They're a good upcoming team. I love the way that they play. So, you know, sometime, you know, you got to see a dynasty come to the end, you know, to see the next up and coming team come about. You know, everybody has to, you know, cross that barrier. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, I love the fact that hopefully LeBron scores 57 points and they lose by 20 and, you know, they send home and we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, we'll see. You know, playoff Jimmy, I think, you know, playoff Jimmy always has that expiration on him in the East. He's going to come out and play hard. Bam's going to play hard. You know, it's hinging on Embiid. Man, he ain't no way in hell they gonna beat him with Embiid. Full healthy Embiid, you know. Let me take it back. I'll say 75% Embiid. I'll give that nod over to the Sixers, depending on Embiid being back. I don't think Maxey got enough to carry him past playoff Jimmy. Now, of course, you know the bad thing about that is I think whoever wins that game, they're actually in that eight spot, so they'll end up playing the Celtics, and I know the Celtics don't want to see playoff Jimmy. They've been running ranch out there. They do not want to see playoff Jimmy. They're probably like, oh my God, can somebody please give Embiid one of those miracle shots,
Nah.
so he can limp his way through this first release.
So the winner of that Philadelphia Miami series gets New York. The winner out of Chicago Atlanta, and that last playoff game gets the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are the 1 seed.
Oh, okay.
So the Knicks either get Miami or Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but either way it go, the Celtics don't want to see playoff Jimmy. I hate to say it like that. The Knicks don't care. Knicks bring us whoever, but I don't think the Celtics. They probably shivering in their boots, like hoping something plays out miraculously where they can get past that first round and shake it out. But hey, I'm like you guys, all for the Bulls, man. Bulls had a nice collection of talent that they were assembling, and I like Vucevic. Vucevic was on my team again. That dude, regardless of people say he don't play no defense, he's gonna give you a double every single game. He was withering away in Orlando, but he's playing good. DeRozan has had some hard times. He was cast off in Toronto. It was like, oh, here's the door, showing him the door. But the Bulls, we all want to see a return of the Bulls to prominence. I feel bad for I like that they're building something, and I want to see how good this team gets, because I don't know if you guys have heard, and I know he gets a lot of hate, but I'm rooting for Lonzo to come back. I think this team would have been way better with Lonzo. Lonzo was really starting to turn that corner before that knee went out. And I want to see what this Bulls team is able to do. Huh? What'd you say?
No, I was going to ask you a question about the Bulls, and then we can push. What do you think they're doing with Zach LaVine?
So Zach LaVine, I think that he's in limbo. Nobody wants to pay their tag for him, but he's an all-star level player, and I want to see what they're going to do this season and how they're going to handle, the Zach LaVine coming back, keeping that chemistry. And then, like I said, he's actually returned to activities, and Kobe White's been balling, but Lonzo's your setup man. Lonzo's going to come in and distribute that rock, get everybody in the right position. We know DeRozan, he loves that mid-range. He's going to get him to that mid-range. But yeah, I want to see we all about the same age, fellas. We all grew up with MJ. We want to see the Bulls at least be competitive again. That would be real nice.
Nah, speak for yourself.
Do we?
Hey.
Do we though?
I don't care that they're in Eastern Conference.
You forget we have a Knicks fan on in the meeting with us, because he's really clamoring for the Bulls to get back to rip. Never mind. It's getting late. I'm gonna be quiet. It's getting late. Yeah.
Hey, but what? Bulls versus Celtics, or Bulls versus Knicks. That would be a storyline. Like I said, NBA loves selling them.
That'd be fun. Zach, what do you got, real quick, on the plan?
So, real quick on the play-in, I like the Bulls. Again, we talked about the Bulls. It's like I like this Bulls team. It's like I'm not really for them to get anyway. So they could have said, you know what, it's over with. We're done. 1, 2, 3 Cancun. But they didn't. They decided to kind of toughen up a little bit in the East. Okay, let's be honest. It's like a Hawks team that isn't probably going to offer too much resistance. I will probably watch about 5 minutes of this game, to be honest with you, fellas. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Won't watch too much of that game. The other game, though, the other Eastern Conference, I will be locked and loaded on that one, because I feel like, and I hate to say this, but it's like whoever wins that game, they're gonna give the Knicks a hell of a series. And it's going to be good. And I would love for Philly to be healthy. And yeah, playoff Jimmy's a thing. Heat culture is a thing come playoff time. And I mean, in Knicks and Heat in the playoff, you talk about storylines and going back in the day. I mean, come on, like Knicks and Heat in the playoffs. I get goosebumps just thinking about that. Another chapter in the Knicks Heat playoff rivalry. I love it. I'm here for it. So I'm looking forward to one game tomorrow. and then the other game will probably be noise in the background. But I'm going to sit down and watch every second of Philly and Miami because I think whichever team wins that game will give the Knicks trouble, and then whatever team loses that game is going to beat whoever wins, like out of Atlanta and Chicago. So then Philly's going to probably end up playing Boston. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how it shakes out. But like I said, I'm going to watch about 5 minutes of one game and all of the other.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give my opinion on that too. Sirius, go ahead real quick.
No, honestly, man, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Looking forward to seeing both those games tomorrow. Contrary to what my man Black Zach said, I'm gonna be locked and loaded on both of those games. I think they're gonna be interesting storylines, interesting moments in both. We spoke about Miami and Philly. The first one tomorrow. The health of Joel Embiid is paramount. If he's able to go right now, it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to go. Then Miami should, be able to flex their muscles, so to speak. I think the Atlanta-Chicago series is a complete, wash. I mean, both teams are mirrors of each other. So which team can execute? I love Kobe White, obviously, as a Tar Heel fan. I love DeMar DeRozan. So there are players that I like in this ball game. So I'm gonna watch both of them, but I think Miami wins, and I think Chicago wins, setting up, a Philly versus Chicago matchup for the rights to get the 8th seed to play Boston. And I mean, let's go Philly. I want to see that. I need that smoke.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think, the health of Embiid means everything. He sat out the last game. They said it was precautionary, but I just don't know how much you can think he's really 100%. He did play the last 8 games. They won the 8 games. But I just don't know how healthy he's going to be for a 7-game series. So we'll see. I really worry about the Heat. I think playoff Jimmy is a thing, but Rozier's not going to play tomorrow. They already ruled him out. And they don't have enough offense. They really don't. They don't score enough. Like that's my problem with the Heat. They play hard, they defend, but they don't play enough defense. I mean, defense. They don't score enough to go with that defense. So I worry about them. So do I think do I think they can beat the Sixers in one game? Probably. If I think they will get either the 7 or 8 seed. I really don't think. I don't think Chicago or the Hawks. I really don't count the Hawks at this point. I don't know how much Trae Young is going to be able to give you, but I don't see it with them. I really think those two teams, Philly or Miami, are just going to flip flop either way. So, a lot of teams will say they don't want to face the Sixers, but I don't think they want to face the Knicks. Knicks are hot. Yeah, baby. It's orange and blue skies, baby.
Oh, man.
Show with orange and blue skies, baby. Woo! Hey, we here, baby.
Hey, Barry, playoff Jimmy is real, but Eric Spoelstra, he was the video coordinator for a reason. That dude comes up with some crazy game plans, even though you say they don't score, but you don't want to see them.
But they lost so much from that team, last year.
How many times have we seen them lose a lot and we count them out, and then next thing you know, they're like, oh, they're one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals?
I don't think they have enough punch this year. I think this is the year it catches. That's just my thing. Like I think that better than in the 8th seed. They should have been better than the 8th seed all season, and they just kind of sleptwalk through the season. And I feel like
we spoke about that though. This is what Miami does. They sleepwalk through the regular season. They get a 7, 8 seed, or getting a play in. They flip a switch, and before we blink, a month from now, they're 2 games up in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, but
we're sitting here like, yo, how the hell they get here? Huh?
They have to fight so hard just to get there, and I feel like.
But I mean, they got there. No, nobody expected that Miami Heat team last year to make the run.
I know, but I think it's
a bubble team.
I really do.
Like real talk. Spoelstra, I hate to say it, but Spoelstra, he's one of those type of coaches where you look at his regular season and it's like, oh, he's muddling, he's in this. But if you give him a series it's almost like that Bill Belichick effect. You give Bill Belichick one game to play you, he's gonna game plan to beat you. And Spoelstra comes up with these game plans to beat you in a series, and we've seen it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I mean, listen, I know playoff Jimmy is real. Trust me. Then my Knicks saw it, couldn't stop him. The guy was hurt. They still couldn't stop him. So we'll see if he can carry that team through the playing game and into the.
I mean, let's keep it a buck. Jalen Brunson versus the Heat this year in his career has averaged 18 points. I'm looking at it right now. He struggles versus the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
And if the Heat win tomorrow, that's who the Knicks got. So
that's a different Knicks team though, like from last year.
I mean it is. I mean
it's coming off an injury that wasn't effective, and they didn't have a guy like DiVincenzo that could space the floor. Now you got shooters to go with.
We'll see. I mean, again, we understand this. Brunson is the straw that stirs the drink. If you limit Brunson, speaking about the Knicks, Heat matchup, and you dare those other two, the other players to beat you, you live with the results. You just can't have Jalen Brunson going for 35 and 40 and hell 60 points and shooting the lights out the jump. So it's gonna be a fun matchup.
He's not gonna get.
It's gonna be a fun matchup. I know he ain't, but you got that point. It's gonna be a fun matchup, though. I'm gonna have fun talking about it.
It's gonna be fun. I'm cooked. Thank you everybody for calling in. I know people's cell phones are dying out on us, so we gotta get everybody out of here. Larry got jokes. Listen, Preppy, I know your phone's about to die. Like Larry said, you $5 on Amazon, get you a charger. Give us a plug and we get out of here, bro.
Look, y'all got kids. Y'all know how much kids love phones. Like, so before I got on here, had to give baby girl daddy's phone because you want. But anyway, so yeah, like real quick before my phone does die, I want to get this in. I am a unabashed, unafraid, unrepenting Texas Longhorn fan. I do not like the University of Oklahoma, but a Sooner retired from an NBA, Blake Griffin, a guy who I love watching play. One of like 4 Sooners I've ever liked. It's like him, Roy Williams, a couple others, whatever, but like he's a what could have been type guy. I wonder, like, he came into the league injured, but then kind of worked it out. But then like that knee just kind of always reared its ugly head. I mean, you talk about underperforming, like those Clippers teams with Glenn Rivers that he was on. Like those are some good teams. They just never kind of put it together. Blake Griffin's always been a cool dude in my, bit, and it's like jumping over the Kia and jumping over people and doing what that like that. So I hope he enjoys retirement. Hope he, does whatever he wants to do in retirement. He got plenty of money, got plenty of things to do. So I hope he enjoys his retirement. He's one of those what could have been guys. We could have escaped the injuries. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and y'all already know how I ended. God is good
all the time.
Water is life. Make sure y'all stay hydrated out there. And of course, Wu-Tang for the children. See y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Blake Griffin is not a Hall of Famer. I don't care what anybody says. I don't.
Oh, heck no.
Discussion. No, I don't want to hear that discussion. Larry,
no,
man. Thanks for coming by, man.
Man, look, hey, if you see some of the guys that get in nowadays, Blake's gonna get in. We're gonna. I'm not gonna knock a guy's career because at the end of the day, they've done something that few of us have done, and Blake did provide us with a lot of excitement. So I'm not gonna knock Blake Griffin, even though he is a Sooner. So just me, like I say, guys, I always try to find something interesting. No, we didn't get into a lot of baseball this time, but Michael Bush, 5 games in a row. Like, wow, I didn't get a chance to see what they did tonight, if they were playing tonight, but yeah, definitely some excitement. Even though if it's not an Astro, definitely some excitement. Five in a row. But yeah, like I always tell you guys, definitely appreciate you guys for inviting me to the table. every week it's a honor and a blessing, man, to sit here with my fellow brothers. And I know a lot of people just see us on when we own, but they don't get all of the ridicule and all of the, you know, back and forth we do throughout the week. You know, my boy Chandler didn't make it out today. You know, we gave him a new name. What was it? Scoundrel. You know, hey, we're gonna, the Scoundrel. So, you know, I hope he's doing well. You know, I'll get into some rust bashing with him, you know, at another day, another time. But like I say, always definitely a pleasure being with you fellas. Peace. I'm out.
All right, peace. Yeah, Uncle Chandler didn't make it today. Hopefully he comes back in. We'll see that dude come in. Listen, great show. Fun having you guys on. Thank you everybody for, you know, coming in. Sirius came into the boardroom late, but he got his notes in. He came prepared. So I like that. You know, he had to sit in the back of the room though. He didn't get to sit at the big board. He had to sit in the back of the room.
Wow.
But shout out to everybody. Shout out to Chandler, Mr. Harvey that contributes, Larry, Black Zach, everybody that makes this thing what it is. We got big things in store. We're doing a lot of things on this boardroom meeting. A lot of fun doing the show. Serious, it would only be right if you close out the show, but I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Brother. Thank you.
All right, my man.
All I gotta say is love on your family. Love, you never know. Tomorrow's not promised. Love your family. Love on everybody. And don't waste your time with people that don't love you. Life's too short. Holla at you, boy.
Thank you so much, Villain, for coming by and kicking it with, man. It's your boy Sirius up in that 412 and the 703, man. It's a privilege and a pleasure to do this with you guys on a regular basis. Shout out to Villain for stepping up and hosting today, man. I couldn't have done this without my mans. Shout out to everybody for coming through and rocking with us, Larry. I hate your guts. That's all I'm going to say. You beat me in fantasy basketball. I'm salty. Black Zach, man. Shout out to my man Black Zach for coming through, man. Mr. Harvey for rocking with us, man. Chandler, man. Hopefully you and the dog is doing well. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking with us. My friends over at the Nonsense and Beat Thought podcast. Looking forward to partnering with those guys here in the next couple of weeks. My man Jared for helping me with the designs and everything. Shout out to everybody over there at Sports City for doing their thing. Again, rest in peace, my man Rodri. The sports calendar is here, man. We got a lot of stuff on tap. NFL draft is a week from Thursday. The NFL draft is a week from Thursday. So next week, expect a lot of draft coverage, man. We're going to hit that thing hard. And then on the heels of the draft, I got an NFL legend, a personal friend of mine, coming by and rocking with us. He's going to break down some things. So a lot of stuff is in store. So stay tuned to that. With that being said, I catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace.